In the jagged silence of dead space, the wreckage of 1,000 forgotten battles drifted like frozen memories. The ether rift loomed beyond the debris field, a gaping wound in the fabric of the universe, pulsing with iridescent hues that defied reason. Its glow refracted off broken hulls and scorched satellites, painting the void with colors that didn't belong in any natural spectrum. This place had no name. The maps simply marked it. Unstable. Do not approach. But Ciri Varel had never obeyed warnings. Her sleek black scavenger craft, the Whisper's Edge, threaded through the wreckage with practiced grace. At its helm, Ciri stared through her visor, her silver hair tied back, her expression flint-hard. Once the youngest commander in the Republic's Reclamation Corps, she now drifted between stars like a ghost, chasing echoes, rumors, and fragments of truth. The distress call brought her here. Faint, corrupted, but unmistakable. A voice filtered through the static, trembling and fragmented, repeating only one phrase. "This is Commander Ciri Varel. I've seen what's coming. Don't trust." She'd listened to it 100 times, and each time it chilled her to the bone. The signal source appeared on her sensors, a derelict vessel locked in a decaying orbit around the rift. Ciri engaged docking thrusters and braced as the airlock cycled. Her boots clanged onto the corroded deck. Inside, the derelict was a crypt, its halls frozen in the vacuum, lit by flickering emergency lights. The ship was Republic-make, but heavily modified, etched with symbols from rift cults that were outlawed even before the wars ended. She found the bridge. Its console flickered to life as she approached, responding to her biometric presence. Her face, younger and unscarred, blinked onto the screen. Log entry 239A. If you're watching this, then I'm already too late. I've breached something I shouldn't have. The rift. It sees us. It learns. It echoes. Ciri stepped back, pulse pounding. The logs detailed operations she never led, events that hadn't happened. Yet, in one, she watched herself lead a suicidal charge into a fleet of rift beasts. In another, she allied with something she couldn't even name. A being of light and shadow, with her own eyes. Then came the final message. Her own voice, quiet, resigned. "There's more than one of me out there. Some broke, some served it. If you're still you, run." The lights cut out. A whisper slithered through the corridor. Not static. A voice. "Ciri." Her hand went to her plasma pistol as the shadows shifted, but nothing came. Only the heavy pressure of something vast, ancient and aware. The whisper's edge pierced the veil of dead space, its thrusters burning blue against the endless black. Ciri sat alone in the cockpit, her fingers dancing over the console with the ease of a veteran, but her thoughts lingered on the message. Her own voice fractured across time and dimensions. It shouldn't have been possible. Not without rift corruption. She swore softly and pulled the data core from the derelict ship out of its containment sleeve. The device pulsed faintly, warm to the touch, like a living thing. She locked it into the nav deck, isolating it from main systems, and let the decryption AI go to work. Fractals unfolded across the hollow display, encryption far beyond Republic standard, laced with chaotic elements that pulsed with the same impossible spectrum she'd seen in the rift. "Encrypted with rift logic," she muttered, like trying to solve a dream. The AI stuttered mid-process, and for a brief instant, the screen filled with her face again. Not a reflection, but a different version. Her eyes were empty, mouth slack, and then it vanished, leaving only numbers and flickering code. Ciri snapped the console shut and stood, her ship's lights dimmed. Not again. She felt it before she heard it. the soft hum of air shifting where there shouldn't be air movement. A presence. She turned sharply, pistol in hand. Nothing. Then, a shimmer. The space in front of her bent, like heat haze on a desert world. Slowly, a figure emerged. Not a being of flesh, but a construct, a projection of light and sound, forming into a woman who mirrored her in every detail, save the eyes. They glowed with rift light. Alien. Wrong. "You're not real," Siri hissed, aiming her weapon. "Neither are you," the echo replied, with a smile that didn't touch her eyes. Before she could react, the echo dissolved into static and vanished. A proximity alarm blared. Multiple contacts. 3 vessels. Unmarked, no transponders. They emerged from the rift itself, their hulls jagged and asymmetrical, as if grown rather than built. Rift spawn. Siri bolted for the helm. "Override flight protocols! Full burn! Get us out of here!" The ship groaned under the strain as it accelerated, dodging streams of white-hot plasma from the enemy ships. She twisted the Whisper's edge between shards of debris, threading the needle of an ancient cruiser's shattered hull. Alarms shrieked. Shields flickered. "They're faster," she growled, flipping switches. "Let's see how they like gravity disruption." She released a grav mine behind her. It detonated in a burst of folding space, sending one pursuer spiraling into its neighbor. The voice continued. "You saw yourself. You know now. You're a fragment, one of many, one of few who resisted." "Who are you?" she hissed, muted mic disabled for a moment. "We are Convergence, and you are overdue." The signal cut. Siri's breathing slowed. The remaining vessel drifted past, scanning, then vanished into the dark, folding back into the rift. She sat back, every muscle coiled. The rift wasn't just a breach in space, it was a mirror, a forge, a predator. And somewhere within it, something knew her name, knew all versions of her, and it had just said she was late. The Whisper's edge limped toward orbit around Kirith Station, a former Republic science outpost turned fringe relay hub. A flickering shell of its once glorious self, it now hung like an old wound, sutured to a dying moon. Its outer plating scarred by meteor strikes and forgotten skirmishes. Here, among drifters, rogue AI monks, and exiled minds, information was currency, and secrets were often buried under layers of corrupted memory and rust. Siri docked in silence, her ship cloaked in the station's blind spot. She didn't trust their scanners, and certainly not their welcome. The hatch hissed open. She stepped into the terminal bay with deliberate caution, her boots echoing against the metallic floor. A couple of salvagers watched from the shadows, uninterested or wisely pretending to be. The scent of ozone and engine coolant clung to the recycled air. Siri made her way to the lowest decks, past neon-lit taverns, past cellars of cybernetic dreams, down into the oldest part of the station, the archive grave. A vault of abandoned servers and thought-chained data blocks, too dangerous to delete, too valuable to destroy. It was watched over by a reclusive archivist known only as Thorn, a being who spoke in riddles and hadn't shown his real face in decades. She found Thorn where the blinking lights dimmed to near blackness, seated on a throne of obsolete tech, wrapped in a robe of flickering screens. His voice filtered through a shifting mask, always half a second out of sync. "Siri Virel," he rasped, as if tasting the syllables. "I thought the rift had taken you." "Maybe it did," she said coolly, stepping closer, "but I walked out." He tilted his head, static buzzing softly. "You don't come here for company. I need a map." "Of the rift?" "No, of myself." That caught his attention. His fingers, wrapped in interface cords, twitched, and hundreds of lights flared to life around them. "I've seen echoes," she continued. "Versions of me. I found one's corpse. Another warned me. One hunted me. They say I'm a fragment. I want to know what that means. I want the original." Thorn stood, slowly. "There is no original," he said. She tensed. "They cloned me?" "No. Worse. You were split." His hands hovered over an ancient console, coaxing it into life. A 3D construct shimmered into view, a tangle of timelines, branching like coral. At the center, her face, flickering in and out, surrounded by hundreds of variants. Some wore armor, others priestess robes. One had no face at all. "The rift doesn't just show futures," Thorn whispered. The whisper's edge limped toward orbit around Kirith Station, a former Republic science outpost turned fringe relay hub. A flickering shell of its once glorious self, it now hung like an old wound sutured to a dying moon, its outer plating scarred by meteor strikes and forgotten skirmishes. Here, among drifters, rogue AI monks, and exiled minds, information was currency, and secrets were often buried under layers of corrupted memory and rust. Siri docked in silence, her ship cloaked in the station's blind spot. She didn't trust their scanners, and certainly not their welcome. The hatch hissed open. She stepped into the terminal bay with deliberate caution, her boots echoing against the metallic floor. A couple of salvagers watched from the shadows, uninterested or wisely pretending to be. The scent of ozone and engine coolant clung to the recycled air. Siri made her way to the lowest decks, past neon-lit taverns, past cellars of cybernetic dreams, down into the oldest part of the station, the archive grave, a vault of abandoned servers and thought-chained data blocks. Too dangerous to delete, too valuable to destroy, it was watched over by a reclusive archivist known only as Thorn. A being who spoke in riddles and hadn't shown his real face in decades. She found Thorn where the blinking lights dimmed to near blackness, seated on a throne of obsolete tech, wrapped in a robe of flickering screens. His voice filtered through a shifting mask, always half a second out of sync. "Siri Varel," he rasped, as if tasting the syllables. "I thought the rift had taken you." "Maybe it did," she said coolly, stepping closer, "but I walked out." He tilted his head, static buzzing softly. "You don't come here for company." "I need a map." "Of the rift?" "No, of myself." That caught his attention. His fingers, wrapped in interface cords, twitched, and hundreds of lights flared to life around them. "I've seen echoes," she continued. "Versions of me. I found one's corpse. Another warned me. One hunted me. They say I'm a fragment. I want to know what that means. I want the original." Thorn stood, slowly. "There is no original," he said. She tensed. "They cloned me?" "No. Worse. You were split." His hands hovered over an ancient console, coaxing it into life. A 3D construct shimmered into view, a tangle of timelines, branching like coral. At the center, her face, flickering in and out, surrounded by hundreds of variants. Some wore armor, others priestess robes. One had no face at all. "The rift doesn't just show futures," Thorn whispered. "It makes them. It folds reality." Thorn hesitated. "That one serves it now? Wears your face? Holds your memories? But it is not you." Siri's jaw clenched. "Then how do I kill it?" Thorn smiled beneath the mask. "To kill a shadow you need light, but to reach the core of the rift, you'll need a path. One only you can walk." He pointed to a chamber beyond, sealed behind biometric locks. There's something down there, something you left for yourself. I've never opened it, didn't dare. She moved toward the chamber, pulse steady. As the door recognized her and hissed open, the room bathed her in a soft violet glow. In the center, suspended in a grav field, floated a crystalline shard, pulsating with the exact frequency of her heartbeat. A voice filled the chamber. Her voice. "This is Siri Varel, Memory Anchor Fragment 7. If you're hearing this, then you've made it far enough to matter. Good. What's inside this shard is everything the rift tried to take from us: purpose, pain, hope. You'll need all three, because soon we go in." The shard flared, and images cascaded through her mind. A city of mirrors inside the rift, a tower built from lost time, a gate guarded by herself. She staggered, breathing hard. Thorn was waiting outside. "You saw it," he said. "I saw me." Her grip tightened around the shard. And for the first time since the rift had whispered her name, Siri smiled. It wasn't over. Not yet. In the silent hours that followed, Siri stayed in the archive grave, studying the shard by torchlight, letting it guide her thoughts in pulses and impressions. It wasn't a map, not in the traditional sense, but it was a memory anchor, a metaphysical compass crafted by one of her lost selves. The moment she attuned to it, her perception of time and place began to change. She didn't dream that night. She relived. A battlefield, drenched in aurora-colored fire, soldiers with blank faces, the rift pulsing overhead like a second sun. Her. But not her. A version of Siri, clad in obsidian armor, eyes black as oil. The rift's emissary. She led them, these soulless things, with wordless commands, unfeeling and precise. The shard snapped her back to waking. She gasped, soaked in sweat. Thorn stood at the threshold. "You're sinking faster than expected." "She's inside," Siri whispered. "The one serving the rift. She's using my face." He nodded. "You'll meet her, but you'll need the other shards." "There are more?" 12 total, Thorn replied, walking beside her now, deeper into the archive. Each left behind by a version of you that resisted. Most perished. Their memories sealed themselves in anchors. Find them and you might reassemble who you truly are, and learn how to end this. He paused before a sealed vault. One of the shards was sent far, to a planet called Charon's Wake. That's where the rift first touched your soul. It's where this began. She frowned. That world's been dead for decades. Thorn's mask twitched with a static laugh. So have many things. Doesn't stop them from speaking. Siri returned to the whisper's edge, the shard secured in her chest plate, next to her heart. The nav route to Charon's Wake was obscured, blocked by radiation fields and ancient defense satellites. But the shard helped. It sang. As she crossed the threshold into the long-forgotten orbit of the doomed planet, stars dimmed and whispers returned, not from without, but from within. She was remembering the first time she died. The storm above Velis Car was a furious tempest of swirling temporal energy, painting the sky with streaks of electric blue and violet that crackled like the breath of the universe itself. Kale stood at the edge of the city ruins, his breath shallow, heart pounding, as the archive's data hummed quietly in his pack. The knowledge contained within was both a weapon and a beacon, a chance to rewrite a fractured past. Yet, the victory felt hollow. The battle for time was far from over. Vela's voice came through, steady but urgent. "Kale, we're not alone. I intercepted comm chatter. Vark's enforcers are mobilizing, and worse, There's a new player, the Crimson Syndicate. They want the archive for themselves. Kale's jaw clenched. The Crimson Syndicate, notorious mercenaries and time pirates, thrived on chaos, exploiting fractures in the timeline for profit and power. Their intervention could tip the scales into catastrophic collapse. "We need allies," Kale muttered. "People who can navigate this madness and stand against both Vark and the Syndicate." The ruins around them whispered with secrets, old alliances, and hidden dangers. Kale remembered an old contact, Elias Drake, a former temporal operative turned rogue, rumored to possess knowledge of the Syndicate's movements and Vark's vulnerabilities. Locating Elias was no simple task. His hideout was buried deep within the labyrinthine sectors of New Aegis, a city built on the skeleton of Veliskar's ruins, where time itself folded in unpredictable ways. Kale navigated the neon-lit streets of New Aegis, shadows dancing under flickering hollow ads that displayed distorted images from past and future timelines. The city was a kaleidoscope of eras, Victorian spires juxtaposed with sleek cybernetic towers, all caught in a perpetual flux. Finally, he found Elias, a tall, wiry man with steel-gray eyes and a cybernetic arm etched with glowing runes, sitting in a smoky tavern named the Temporal Drift. "Kale Thorne," Elias said, his voice rough but warm. "Haven't seen you since the Rift incident." Kale nodded. "I need your help. Vark's plan will erase countless realities. The Crimson Syndicate is moving to seize the archive. We need to stop them." Elias leaned back, eyes narrowing. "Dangerous game. But I owe you one. Let's just say I have my own scores to settle with Vark." The uneasy alliance formed in that dimly lit room was a fragile thread amidst a tapestry of chaos. Elias revealed intelligence about the Syndicate's operatives. A ruthless commander named Kayla Varus, known for her cold precision, and a vendetta against anyone meddling with time. As they spoke, the tavern's hollow screens flickered violently. An incoming